All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wealth Edit Wednesday. We are so glad to have you. This is an open call, which once every few months, when we have someone really special that we just love, we open up the call so that you get a little preview for what kind of live content happens at the Wealth Edit. And so this is our friend, Nan Phillip. She is a consultant and runs a blog, a PR. She has a PR consulting firm and runs a blog. And so we're really grateful to have her here. And what we've been realizing is that our outfits are, on brand with her background today. Yeah. We didn't do that on purpose, but we really like that so much. So
and your awesome sofa, the fabric behind you.
And Nan is a Wealth Edit member. And I think, that's been the fun thing about this membership, going from what was supposed to be an in-person platform to an online platform, is that we get to meet cool people like Nan. And so anyway, I'm just going to have her, Nan, if you'll just share your story with us, we would love that. Thank you for being on.
So honored to be here today. It's so fun. And I think at the end, we'll talk about what I do and whatnot, but I also am happy to answer any Wealth Edit questions as being a member, because I know there's some people who aren't members on today, because I just, as you guys know, love singing your praises when I share on my blog or Instagram, because it definitely has been something I'm so happy that I joined this year. I've probably been a member for about 6 months or so. I found it via Instagram. One of my friends, Riley, was on Wealth Edit Wednesday, and I saw her post about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to be better about my finances. I'm young, I'm only 27, and I feel like all women, we need to be better about just knowing everything about our finances and talking about it more. And so this year, that was really a goal for me, and I'm so glad I joined, because it's been really helpful. Good. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that. But first, I can give you guys just a little overview about what I do for my job, and just so that we can answer any questions from there. So my name's Nan, and I am based in, right now I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a New England girl, unlike probably many Wealth Edit people are in the South.
I feel like you're a Southerner at heart, though. It feels like you are supposed to be in the South. So
I wish. I feel like I have a ton of Southern friends, and they always tell me that. So at heart, hopefully. So I went to Middlebury for college, which is a small liberal arts school up north in Vermont. And I've always loved interior design. So I really thought that was something I wanted to do one day for my job. And that sort of led me to finding PR, which I don't think I really knew about. I was an art history major. I'd heard the word PR, but didn't totally get what they did. But luckily, through a family friend, I met my first boss, Elizabeth Blitzer, who's amazing. She runs this firm, Blitzer and Company, which is based in New York. And she has a small boutique firm that specializes in interior design. So all of her clients are interior designers or home brands. So she has awesome clients. Bunny Williams, Schumacher, Matuk, John Darien, the best of the best. So
that is pretty awesome.
Can't think of anyone who would have been better to learn from. And I'm so lucky to have worked with her. So I went and interned for her before my senior year of college. And it was just so fun. She had one other employee, Liza, who worked with her at the time. And so I really got to see so much from the start. And I think what was hopefully unique about me when I worked with her is I also had a blog at the time. So I've always loved blogs. I think probably when I was in 7th and 8th grade, I was reading blogs. My parents were probably like, what are you doing? But it was I think I was reading things a Monogram preppy blog. I don't even remember what it was.
Pretty Southern at heart.
Yeah.
Yes. And then when I was in high school, I had a Tumblr, which I don't think that many people know about. You might if you've been on the internet for a while, but that was sort of similar to Pinterest. You would just repost people's images. So it was sort of like a mood board. And then when I was in college, I read a lot of blogs. That's kind of, so I graduated college in 2016. So I would have started this blog in, I think, 2014 around. And so the blogs were coming up then. They're not as popular now, but it was definitely a thing. And I was like, these are fun to read. I kind of have thoughts. I've never wanted to be a big time blogger, but I was like, I think I started my blog because I was curious how it worked. And that's sort of how my blog's called Simply Elegant Blog. I can send the link to everyone, but simplyelegantblog.com. And I call myself an occasional blogger because I don't post that often. So I'd love to have anyone follow me, but it's gone through many phases. I'm not a full-time blogger, and but it's sort of been this fun test ground for me because I'll do it when I have something fun I want to share. It's really just my daily musings, things I love, whatever. Hopefully I try to post once a week these days, if not twice a week. In college, sometimes I posted a lot more. Sometimes I'd go for months without posting, but it was a fun side project. But then when I had this job, I think it was in my first internship at Blitzer & Company, I offered them something sort of special because our PR firms weren't working with bloggers yet. And it was sort of this new thing, especially in interior design. So I had this little niche that I could offer to them. And we started working with bloggers. So I could say, oh, well, I think they'd like this, or these are the 20 bloggers we should reach out to. That and hopefully other reasons, my boss hired me and I kept, so I went back and worked with her after I graduated and worked there for about 3.5 more years, kept my blog on the side. Work-wise, I then went and worked at Wheezy Towels, which is another amazing company based in the South. I think Lindsay, the CEO, has been on this, the Wealth Edit as well.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for towels, bathrobes, anything, they just opened, I feel like you guys have Atlanta members, they just opened a store in Atlanta, pop-up store.
I did not
I
know
actually
that.
saw that yesterday.
We need to do our Atlanta event there. That's fun.
Yeah, you should reach out. I'll connect you guys with them again. But
Yeah.
the girls at Wheezy are the best. And so I worked with them for about a year or so. So I did their PR initially, just freelancing. And then I had left Blitzer & Co. And my parents were like, Nan, time for a full-time job. You're still very young. So I ended up chatting with them and figured out I worked on their marketing team in-house and did their PR in-house, which was great for me because it was sort of a way to just focus on one client, see what it was like to do PR in-house and do some more marketing work, which was fun. Then COVID hit, and I think for all of us, everything changed, right?
Everything changed.
So that sort of just recalibrated everything for me. And while I loved Wheezy, I just wanted to be closer to family. I was going to move for that job to Atlanta, but as we know, I'm a New England girl. So then I started my own company. So now I have a company called Nan Phillip Consulting, and I still do the same thing, PR for interior designers and brands. And I have about 6 to 8 interior design clients and a few brands that I work with. And I just every day I'm at my computer calling clients, visiting clients, and being sort of a middleman between editors and my clients and helping them hopefully find new customers, get press online and in print, sometimes helping them with social media. Social media, I think for all of us is the bane of everyone's existence, but can help. And then on the side, I also try to post to my blog, and then I tell everyone I'm better on Instagram. So definitely my Instagram is just nan.phillip, and follow me there. And I post on that more often.
I love following Nan on Instagram.
Oh
I feel like she always knows, like, if you need a little gift for yourself or you need like an idea for a birthday, or now Christmas is coming up. So I'm like, cannot wait to see what you post.
I'm
But
getting ready for my gift guide, so stay tuned.
She always has just some, like, what I love about your site, I feel like, is that, or your Instagram, is that it really like highlights feminine brands. I don't know if you do that on purpose, but
I definitely try to focus on like small female owned brands. I think
I love it.
One of the reasons, I mean, I love Wealth Edit, you all, everyone, like I am obsessed, and probably why I like PR too, is with the story behind a brand. Like that makes a good press pitch, everything. Like I just have this idea, like all of us, I mean, think about Amazon, anything that's out there these days, like you basically, any of us have access to so much these days. Like with the internet, you can basically buy anything. So if we could buy a t-shirt from anywhere, I think then it puts a lot of power and sort of autonomy into the consumer, and we have to decide where we're going to buy that from. And so then I think we really should take that power and like put our money into a small female owned business that's a startup, and invest, put our money where our mouth is. So I really do try. I mean, believe me, I order from Amazon, I buy things from Sephora, etc. But I, when possible, like love to support a small business.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what else I love about your Instagram is that it's like your real personality comes through. It's very
Okay.
genuine. It's very approachable. And I know Lauren and I've laughed. So last week I tried to help with Instagram, and it's so difficult, but there's really a gift for being able to give your personality through what you post. And, we think about PR and what that means. How is that different than marketing?
Totally.
Why should you hire somebody to help with that? And for the most part, if it was, just me, there are many of us that really need help with that, figuring out our voice, and you just do that so well. And it seems like it's come so naturally, especially even just starting off with the blog.
Mhm.
I think it takes a special personality of being vulnerable and confident at the same time. You just do a fantastic job of that.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's definitely, I do tell people for sure, and my Instagram is definitely a highlight reel. I tell everyone everything you see on Instagram. It's never someone's full life. You don't see every aspect. I mean, no one's life is perfect. There's certainly times where my life's not ideal. I'm crying, whatever. I don't share that on my Instagram. I have some friends on Instagram. I have to say, I feel like the reason I've stayed on Instagram are the friends I've made, which is so random. So many people are excuse me, you have friends? I feel like I truly do. I have cell phone numbers of people who I've become friends with on Instagram, which sounds weird, but then I'm people meet their husbands on Bumble and whatever.
Totally.
It's kind of the new, I feel like we all are used to that now. And those people that I've become friends with, make me stay, and the friendships you form or the businesses I've gotten to know or clients that I've gotten. I mean, my blog really helps me meet other businesses that maybe become clients in my business. And, but the authentic line is, it's so important to be authentic if you want your social media to succeed. But I do draw a line. There's certain things I definitely don't include, but I try to be as authentic as possible. It's hard, I think, and I find a lot of people like this too. I don't always love to talk to the camera. I go through phases of how often I'm on my stories actually chatting. I'm sure you'll see sometimes I just do still photos on my stories. Sometimes I chat. It sort of depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, talk to us about, because I think what I just love, I'm so happy Nan's on, because I feel like PR people are so important and they never want the spotlight. So even when we were Nan, we want you to talk to everyone on Wealth Edit Wednesday because you're so awesome. She's like, I do that for other people, and I think there's something so humble and genuine about that. But I do think one thing that people want to understand, ones that have budding businesses or, are talking to their friends about businesses that they're starting, is tell us about the PR journey. Tell us about small feminine brands and how we should be thinking about PR.
Yes. Okay. So I took some notes. I'm very prepped on this topic. I have some thoughts for everyone. So there's sort of two. So as a small business, I think PR is very important. I mean, I'm biased. I think it's important to invest in, but I also realize it's not feasible for everyone. But if you're a small business and are you have some money backing your business, I think it's super valuable, because obviously the more people that see your business, the more money you're going to make. That's just what it comes down to. Right. But so generally there's obviously tons of different PR companies out there. You can do some Google search. I'm always happy to recommend someone to you. I think I always suggest to people, take a lot of calls, reach out to a good amount of different companies. Maybe even if they say that their client list is full, try to get them on the phone with you just to take an intro call to see what they charge, how they work with their clients. Because even if they're full, they can give you some info that you can then use in your next phone call with someone who could take you, so that you can just compare the whole process. What I'll say is I suggest to most small businesses, or honestly in most forms, a PR firm, a marketing agency, in all types. I love working with boutique small firms, something that's 1 to 4 people. I think you get the best service. By the time you go to a bigger company, a bigger agency, I just think you lose that personal touch, and they're going to sell you on everything and charge you a lot. And they sell you a ton of mumbo jumbo, personally. But so most small firms, there's tons in New York, PR firms, there's some in Charleston, Atlanta, there's a ton I can recommend to you all, will charge you a monthly retainer. So I think you should expect to have it be $2,000 to $10,000 a month. Obviously that's a big range, but I think that hopefully will help you just to get a sense as a brand. I don't think you 2,000 is sort of the lowest that I think you'll be able to go. And usually you'll have to sign a contract like that would be for at least 6 months. You don't work with a PR firm if you can't commit to paying them for 6 months. It takes about, I always tell my clients, like, it takes at least 3 months to really see something start to happen. If you think about the lead time for a print magazine, let's see, editors that I'm working with now, it's October, are already working on their spring issues. So if you were to start working with me right now, and let's say you had a pillow company, I could talk to an editor at Southern Living, and she's already working. What were we just emailing about with Paige? She's working on something for like some of her March issues. So if we work together now, you wouldn't see that come out until March. So you've got to keep paying me, and we've got to keep working together for you to see some of those results until March. Obviously, there's online things we can do, but I think you really have to look at the long-term process. As a product brand, I also tell a lot of my clients, this wouldn't apply to the Wealth Edit in the same way. Different firms would have different ideas about this, but if you're a brand, I would ask them about this, is like affiliate marketing, having those trackable links that a lot of bloggers use these days. I think a lot of us are used to that now with like Reward Style, etc.
Yeah.
That's also used by a lot of publishers. That's kind of like the new name of the game. So when you read something like Wirecutters by the New York Times, The Strategist by New York Magazine, down to like a House Beautiful article, a lot of times at the bottom of those articles, they'll say these are like commissionable links and we may make a commission. Doesn't always happen with an online editor, but most publishers are using those now for product stories. So I tell most of my product clients that I want to see them get on those networks. They don't have to do the blogger side of it, but it would be it's like a key element to getting in gift guides, online stories.
So if you use one of those like link services,
yeah. So you want to sign up for ShareASale,
Like to Know It.
It's a very complicated system. Like to Know It is like a second step. First, you have to get on the first affiliate network, which is Commission Junction, ShareASale, Rakuten. I have everyone use ShareASale. That's just what I'm used to, but any of them is fine. Once you get on ShareASale, then you get on a sub affiliate, which is Like to Know It.
Okay. Because we just got on that one, but we don't even know how to use it. So it'll probably be another 18
we'll
months
offline that.
before we-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so complicated and things are changing all the time. And so are you saying
gosh,
like
yes.
at the end of the article, you'll put that and then you can link to your product through that
Yeah.
way. Okay.
And you can definitely get things without that as a small business. Like I've worked with clients that don't have that to start, but you sort of see a cap, like to be able to email an editor and say, in like PS, we give a 15% commission. It's just like that little extra note that I was one time talking to a friend who also did PR, and she said like, that's sort of a way to say like, you care about what they're writing. You're investing in their content kind of.
Right. So they
Yes.
get 15% of anything that's sold based on the link that's attached to the article.
I mean, I wish that editor actually did. The publication does.
Got
Doesn't
you.
show.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's kind of a bummer.
Totally. So that's
Wow,
what I
this is
say
a
for-
deep.
This is
A
like,
whole. We're
I
gonna
feel
have
like
to
my
teach a
mind
class.
is blown today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you back to
oh,
teach
We're gonna
class.
put you on the spot here.
Okay, wait, a few other things. So then I also say for a brand, you want to have like a good elevator pitch. So like 1 to 2 lines of what your business is. Don't like editorialize it too much. Like okay, let's say you're selling like rugs. We're like fun, customizable, colorful rugs made in the South. Something like catchy, quick, that tells you what they are. You don't want to like editorialize it saying like, we're the best, only rugs you need. You're going to love us. Like let the editor decide if they love you, but just tell them what it is.
Mhm.
You definitely want to have good branding and a good website. I hate to say it, but like sometimes some of my editors can like totally look through that and they'll tell me like if it's a good product, I'll write about it. But when you're writing to editors who you don't know as well, if you're emailing them blind, it's not going to work. Like you want it all to be cohesive. Good images. You want you'll need, if you want press in print for a product, you need images on a white background, like good images of your product. So not just lifestyle shots of like the girl in the outfit holding the product styled in a home.
Like a white image with your a white background, your product. That's it.
So it's sort of
love
like
that.
a studio silhouette.
I'm thinking of Estelle colored glass. They do a great job of that.
I just love when they come scroll through my feed. I'm like, ooh, Jay Lowry too.
Jay Lowry, that's great.
I mean, I'm like, every time I see that feather bag, I'm like, I want it. But
Same.
Christmas, maybe.
You'll also, we were talking about this yesterday with you all. You want headshots, good headshots of the founders and bios written about you. And that's something that you can pitch out like as business owners to get your story.
And then can you talk about one of the things you brought up yesterday is like the importance, because I think we now discount because we think everyone has some sort of electronic means of communication, but like putting that bio in a PDF, like an 8.5 by 11. Can you talk about that?
Totally. So I like to make like a brief pitch deck for my brand, for the brands I work with. So like a 4 to 6 page pitch deck that's a PDF. You want it to be low res enough that you can email it to someone. And we were talking about like, do you want to use that PDF as an attachment or should they just like visit your website? Sadly, I think sometimes when you're emailing someone you never have met, like they're gonna be like, do I really want to click on this link? I've never heard of them. So first embed in the email a low res so that they can actually see it image. Like you need to catch their eye. If they have to click over, like that's work for them. You've got to catch their eye before they do that.
Embed.
And then I like to actually, especially for an editor that works for a publication, for a freelance editor, it's not as necessary because they are like hustling for themselves. But for someone who works for a publication, I do like to make an attachment because they all use like a shared folder system, a shared drive. And so they can take this attachment, save it down to their files. So let's say there's a monthly column that features like a creative woman, right? So like in every issue, they're going to feature a woman. I mean, Southern Living, for example, has an amazing column in her shoes where they feature one woman in a month who's like from the South, who's doing something fun.
That's fun.
So if I was going to email Betsy Cribb and say, I want to pitch you for someone for this, she might say, oh, that's not perfect, but I'll keep her in mind. Now, mind you, I have no idea exactly how Betsy like keeps track of who she's thinking of, but I like the idea of sending her a PDF because she could save it down to her files, hopefully save it in the share drive with all her other editors at Southern Living, and maybe someone else would see it. Where if it was just like a link in an email, who knows if someone's going to find it.
I love that.
I've heard from other people, sometimes I honestly forget this myself, to try to think about like what someone would search for your business if they file your email away, but then one day is like, for the Wealth Edit, like women in finance, put that in your email pitch so that when they're searching their email and writing a story about women in finance, you come up.
Yeah.
They might be looking for people to interview on that topic.
That's a great
Sort
idea.
of use like keywords.
I love that.
Which is so true because even with the Wealth Edit, we've started to get some pitches from PR people, which has been so exciting.
Yeah, we're like, woo, we feel so special. Like, we're like, and they're great brands. Like they're like brands, of course we would want to interview.
Yeah. And so we've been so thankful to, we can tell that we're slowly getting on that circuit. And but to the point is it'll happen during the day. And because we're doing Somerset and Wealth Edit, and like they'll, I'll sit down, and say, all right, this afternoon, I'm just doing Wealth Edit Wednesday and I'm searching for stuff and I can't find it.
Right.
And I'm like, I know I got that email. I can't find it. And I'll be searching for.
Whatever. I definitely liked, you want to read someone. So you can find, if you're pitching for yourself before you hire a PR firm, you can find editors' contact info. Like you can do it. So many people have their websites even say it these days. Like I can think of some of the gals I work with at House Beautiful. Like if you look them up online, you can see their emails. Like it says it right there on their page, like housebeautiful.com, Hadley Keller, it comes up what her email is. So you could reach out to her too. You want a good subject line, not like catchy, not too long. Keep your email short. No one wants to read a lot. This is my constant problem. I make my emails too long. Like I'm always cutting them down. And you want put in that you've actually read their work. Like don't just pitch, I want you to write about me in House Beautiful. You have to actually read the magazine and find the column, find the place that's going to work. You have to do your homework. I think that's where people miss the mark. They're like, oh, I want to be in, house and garden. Can't you get me in house and garden? And I'm like, that would be amazing. Every single one of my clients would love to be in house and garden. I'd love you to be in house and garden, but it's in the UK. It's great. And we need to find a specific place that you would fit in there. There's what specific column, what project, where does it fit? You've got to really dig.
I really love that. And I'd say one other step, because we've dabbled in PR and whiffed, and it was not the PR firm's fault. It was our fault because we were not ready. And that is what I think, knowing enough about your business. A book that we're reading right now is called Nail It, Then Scale It. It's a funny book name, but it's great because I think the more you know about who your potential product is best for, you're going to stop wasting everyone's time, and really target, okay, if your goal is for your product to be in house and garden or whatever in the UK, you got to really dig deep down inside and say, how is my product really relevant to the UK consumer? I might like this. So, maybe if you're I don't know. I can't imagine, but whatever it is. I love Lewis and Wood. So they're in the UK and they're probably a better fit than the Wealth Edit for this particular thing.
Totally.
So I think just a bit of self-awareness, and then also just getting really down to the target of this is who we serve. This is what we do best.
Yeah.
Just so, there's a lot of things that we all can do, and women are multifaceted, multi-talented. But if you have a product that you're bringing to market, to know exactly what you do well is extremely important.
And being able to communicate that, because with the Wealth Edit, it is a, it's not a product. It's specifically, it's not like a consumer good. So here we have this idea that really there's not that many people doing it. And so we have had to work very hard on the messaging.
Because we created something new. So everyone's wait, I don't understand what this is.
They're like, well, don't you want to be in Barron's? Why would you want to be in a lifestyle brand rather than this? And so being able to articulate why it's so important to do something that's kind of goes against the grain a little bit. That's been something that we've learned because communicating as an attorney, which is how I learned to write and what I did for many, many years, is very different than this. And it's just a skill, but you do learn. And we've tried and been okay, evidently that pitch didn't work because there wasn't a response. But as it's
tons of trial and error,
honed. And now all of a sudden I feel like we're getting somewhere. So that's a positive thing, but it's just a process.
Yeah, for sure.
That is great. Well, tell us, I can't believe we're already at 10:30.
I know, so fast.
We really want you to come on for a full hour class. Sorry, Emily.
Yes, let's do it.
But tell us about your experience with the Wealth Edit, why you said yes to the Wealth Edit. We'd love just a couple minutes on that.
Yes, of course. Okay. So I saw the Wealth Edit because my friend Riley, who's an artist, was chatting with you all on Wealth Edit Wednesday. And I was like, Riley, what is this? I need financial help. I so credit my parents. We always have been. I'm young, I'm 27. I'm single, just a single woman trying to run my own business, which I just started this year. So I think starting my own business this year has really opened up to me that I need to be more aware of my finances. I've always tried to be pretty aware of it, but because I'm young, single, and rent an apartment, there's not that much that goes on in my life of finances, right? But now that I have my own business and I have a bookkeeper and invoices and insurance for my business, all of those things, I'm like, okay, wow, there's a little more going on here. So when I saw the Wealth Edit, I read about you all online, read your homepage, and I was like, yes, this is the investment I need to make in myself. And it is an investment, but if you follow me on Instagram, I buy a lot of things, and I was like, okay, I can not buy 2 nice dresses or 2 nice sweaters that will hang in my closet and maybe be worn twice. And instead I can gain some knowledge that I'll have for my whole life. So I'm so glad I signed up. I try to, usually I have in my calendar, I have it reserved off for Wealth Edit Wednesdays. I've loved these. I think for people who don't know, so usually it's just a different woman who has an interest in business. So I've loved hearing everyone who comes on. There's, a whole gamut of someone who owns a bakery to I don't know, tons of different things of women who talk every Wednesday at this time for 30 minutes. But then I also love like Helen, is her name Helen, who comes on, who talks a little more about finance. Helen was great. She came on once and she was like, you only need 2 credit cards. That's it. That's all you should have. You should only have 2 credit cards, one that you use all the time and one for emergencies. And I was like, yes, okay. That's the info I need. Like I'm young, I need the basics. And then there's all these courses that you can take online. So there's courses you can take live and there's courses that have already been recorded that you can take. So I took a budgeting class, which I also really need. And that was with Carrie and over 4 to 5 weeks. And Carrie, you should be proud. I'm still doing it.
She's on today. She's going to be pumped.
So that's been really helpful for myself because I've always kind of lived within, my means of what I've got for each month. So it's just sort of me. And so I've never really, but I don't quite know where my money goes. Like I just know how much I have and I can use that and then keep going. And this has just really helped me to know exactly where things are going and how much I spent shopping that month or on this or on that. So that's been huge for me. But I think what's so cool about the Wealth Edit, and I want more people to join, is there's such a possibility of like a community. Like if we all engage with each other, there's an online network where once you join, you get a login and you can chat with each other. And it's sort of this back end room almost. It's Mighty Networks is what it's called. And you can, like I posted the other day that I needed help with a client. I was looking for like someone we could hire, a freelancer. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should ask the women at the Wealth Edit. It's this whole community, tons of them have small businesses. I'm sure someone will know someone I could hire. Yeah. So I love the concept of like this group of women that we could all lean on, which I think is so nice. So it would only be more fun if we all joined and there were more of us.
That's right. I agree too. And that's what we really see. Like we see one of the models that we've looked at is like the YPO model. It's Young Presidents Organization. Yeah. And they like have such a strong network with each other. They have small groups and like there's really not a great network for that for women, and especially women that are like, really focused around money wellness. And so that's what we want. We want people to join and like for us to connect. And we try to connect as much as possible, women in our community. So last week, I think we connected, I'm trying to think who we connected last week. A couple months ago, we connected like an art gallery owner with this artist that we know to connect, and like several of the businesses.
Somebody wanted a bookkeeper. Somebody wanted a business consultant. I mean, I feel like it's starting to really pick up, and I love that part of it.
So the more that we know, Emily and I, and like the membership, we hope will always be like we want it to expand, obviously, to get good like a good amount of networking, but we want it to always be like where we understand how to make connections between members. Totally. And so that's really our goal for that. And so anyway, we're just so grateful for you, man. We just love having you.
I'm grateful for you all. I think it's awesome what you're doing. So
we love you, and we just are so thankful for all the help that you've given us. I mean, you've just been so generous in your support. So thank you so much. And I really feel like we're going to have to ask you back for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh,
let's do deep dives in the topics that we talked about, because we
can do like a PR masterclass or something like that.
Yes, let's do it. Okay. I'm going to sign up because that'll
be fun.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much. And we'll see you next week on Wealth Edit Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.